All right, let's dive into the drama. Ms. Davis steps up with all the confidence of a lioness, absolutely sure Mr. Gilbert is the dad to little Corey. She throws a curveball by blaming his sister for all the paternity doubts. Oh, family drama. Gotta love it. Get ready, because Ms. Davis is about to spill the tea on their whirlwind romance.
You say that you are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt Mr. Gilbert is your son Corey's father. You feel the only reason Mr. Gilbert is denying paternity is being brainwashed and manipulated by his meddling sister.
Yes, Your Mom.
Here comes the love story. Grab your popcorn. Ms. Davis reminisces about their romance that sprinted from zero to baby in no time flat. They were all about love at first sight, and suddenly, baby plans were on the table. But hold on, the plot thickens as doubt starts to shadow Mr. Gilbert's mind next.
We met in my old neighbor. It was like love at first sight. We was friends when we was in love. I didn't want to get pregnant, but he wanted to.
And so wait, you're dating, you say you fall in love, and he says, I want a child. He wants you to have a baby. And you say, okay. And you all purposefully.
Yeah.
And were you committed? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yes, ma'am, I was committed. I haven't been with nobody else.
Wait for it. Doubt enters the arena. Just when things were looking up, Mr. Gilbert starts second-guessing if he's the daddy, all thanks to a whispering campaign led by his sister and some neighborhood gossip. Drama alert. This is where the feels and the family pressure cook up a storm. Next up, we're rolling into how they found out about the bun in the oven.
So I don't understand how you're doubting her.
It's not down her, it's just down the situation at hand. Family don't feel like he mine. Maybe it's the persona she gave off.
They don't know me,
She
but
give
they
me
was
different
friends.
vibes.
They was cool with me at first until I got pregnant.
Plot twist incoming. Ms. Davis tells the tale of how she discovered she was pregnant with Mr. Gilbert by her side, turning into a supportive soon-to-be dad, or so we thought. This sweet flashback moment is dripping with drama and diapers, but don't go anywhere. The reaction from Mr. Gilbert's family is up next, and it's a doozy.
You remember this day, Mr. Gilbert? And you go get the pregnancy test. You take the test, and what happened?
It came up positive.
At that moment, did he express any doubt? Mr. Gilbert, did you have any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Now, I'm looking at this photo. You look like you in a relationship. Always love these shots. You kissing the stomach.
Can you feel the tension? As soon as the family gets wind of the pregnancy, the doubt virus spreads like a bad cold. Mr. Gilbert's family starts throwing shade, questioning the baby's paternity like it's their job. And just when you think it can't get any more tangled, we're about to dive into their plans for the future amidst this soap opera.
The streets talk, and she was messing with other people at the time, Your Honor. That's why I'm saying we heard from people that she's pregnant before she started messing with my brother. If he could have kids, he'd have 6 of them. He hasn't had it. And that's why we're in denial, because my brother, he's sick and he haven't conceived any kid.
Here comes the legal lowdown. Judge Lake lays it on thick, explaining just how deep the legal waters are they're swimming in. This isn't just Maury-level drama, it's got real-world stakes. And just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, you're swimming into the deep end with their current relationship status.
So this is a picture of baby Corey. You say his dad on the other.
As a child.
And you say you see the resemblance?
They just don't like me, so of course they're not gonna like
It's not about like. He asked me, did the baby look like him? I told him, no, I don't think that's your baby.
Ever seen a relationship as roller coastery as this one? They're not just on again, off again. They're maybe make another baby on again. As they hash out their current romantic turbulence, hold on to your popcorn, because the DNA results are coming and it's about to be a blockbuster reveal.
Working on a relationship.
Yeah, what I heard, she was pregnant right now by another man.
Did you just say, Miss Jones?
Yes, ma'am.
That you heard Davis was pregnant right now?
Another man.
Ain't you trying to make another one?
Oh, okay. If it's pregnant by me, then yeah. But I ain't heard about this other person.
How you letting her lie?
That's what I heard.
I'm not letting nobody.
And here it is, the grand finale. The DNA results are in. And guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Gilbert, you are the father.
Can you believe the curveball we just saw? As tensions ramp up in the courtroom, Mr. Drumgold lets his frustration fly, frustrated over the lack of clarity from Leanne. He believes if things had been transparent from the start, they wouldn't be in this mess, highlighting just how strained everyone feels. And if you think that was intense, just wait until what's coming next.
Mr. Rich,
Go back up.
you came here to get an answer.
I have not called him lately.
I don't care, man.
My phone tells it all. But that's all it was, a speech.
Stop.
If Leanne could have had it her way and now one of us know, we wouldn't be here today.
You'll want to buckle up for this one. Ms. Holman drops a bombshell, insisting on the necessity of a DNA test right from the get-go, due to her early suspicions about the father's identity. Her foresight into the potential complications sets the stage for the drama unfolding in the courtroom. And guess what? It only spirals from here.
At the end of the day, you're a liar. I've been telling you this since I was pregnant. No, at the end of the day, it's all coming out today. I told you I wanted a DNA test.
Listen,
I I told
Ms.
you.
Coleman.
Did that just flip the script or what? Judge Lake steps in to acknowledge Mr. Rich's emotional struggle, lauding his maturity and honor amid the chaos. This moment underscores the court's attempt to maintain dignity and respect despite the swirling turmoil. And just when you think you've caught your breath, the next moment will knock the wind out of you.
Mr. Rich, I am so happy you turned around and came back. I know how painful this is for you. I don't want you to get so angry that then you have come in here honor. You have shown a level of unconditional love that everybody in here.
Here's where things get even spicier. Enter Mr. Matthews, a new potential father, throwing another wrench into the already complicated paternity puzzle. Sudden introduction adds layers of intrigue and emotion, thickening the plot considerably. The courtroom's about to get even more heated, so keep your eyes peeled.
Mr. Matthews into the courtroom. Mr. Rich, calm down. Just take a deep breath. Listen, you want the truth. That's what I'm trying to get for you, but you gotta let me want to know. I'm giving you the truth. Gotta sit through and you've gotta listen. We cannot go to a better place.
Are you ready for this whirlwind? As the court dives deeper into who might be baby Alani's dad, Mr. Matthews confirms his intimate ties with Ms. Holman during the key period. This confession cranks up the tension, adding yet another twist to this paternity enigma. Brace yourself. The crowd's reaction is just around the corner.
I'd like to understand what your relationship was with Ms. Holman. She said she was intimate with you as well during the window of time when Alani was conceived.
Yes, ma'am.
I can see how uncomfortable this makes you. And I would like for you to take this opportunity while I hear the rest of the testimony to go and speak with Dr. J. And I will never allow you to sit here.
This part is a real doozy. Mr. Drumgold can't hold back any longer, venting his frustration about the ongoing ambiguity and emotional toll it's taking. His fervent outburst captures the high stakes and personal toll of the court's impending decision. Up next, the atmosphere gets even more charged, if you can believe it.
I also know she's not gonna change, but for her to simply say, tell me that I'm supposed to be the only one. 3 of us in here, and she's still saying that. Expect her, boy, she just say, look, at the end of the day, I really don't know. Instead of just saying, oh, it's his. But yeah, you want this baby to be mine.
Have I been with all 3 of these men? How do you know there's only these 3 men? Because I gave them name. This is my truth. Here it is. It's ugly. Now I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
What's coming next is a total shocker. The courtroom holds its breath as the judge announces Mr. Rich is not the father of baby Alani, sparking an uproar among the spectators. This revelation pivots the spotlight to the remaining contenders, amplifying the suspense. You won't want to miss how the next result shakes out.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. The first envelope is for Mr. Rich. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rich is not the father.
Here's the clincher everyone's been waiting for. In a dramatic culmination,
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Drumgold, you are the father.
Exactly.
wow. Talk about a plot twist right out of a soap opera. The episode kicks off with Judge Lake taking Mr. Wallace to task about his love life, which seems more complicated than a reality TV series. She's all, how can you say you're single? While waving around evidence of marriage and a bunch of kids. And Mr. Wallace? He's just standing there insisting his marriage was an accident, like he tripped and fell into a wedding. Things are just heating up, and you won't believe what comes next.
Now, it would be different if you were just a young man and you had let all these women know that, listen, I'm a dating man, I'm single, but you're not single.
That was an accident. That was
an accident. So now it was an accident.
You are not suggesting that your relationship is an accident.
Now that was an awkward family reunion moment, wasn't it? Judge Lake keeps the spotlight on Mr. Wallace, pointing out that his love for his kids doesn't quite match up with how he treats their moms. One of the women drops a bombshell by saying, Mr. Wallace texted her sweet nothings just last week, totally contradicting his I'm over you speech. Judge Lake is there like the mom who's had enough, reminding everyone to act like grown-ups for the kids' sake. Grab some popcorn because the drama is just getting started.
I love my kids dearly, but I shouldn't have
You just don't love their mother.
He's lying because he was texting a couple of weeks ago telling me how he still loves me.
You married to him.
We're trying to get divorced.
Did you see that coming? Poor Ms. Austin thinks she's engaged to Mr. Wallace, who's still very much married, and it's more tangled than a soap opera plot. Judge Lake is like, girl, what are you doing? While Ms. Reed chimes in with her 2 cents about Mr. Wallace's text escapades. Ms. Austin sheepishly admits he might have fallen for his charm, like it's a rom-com gone wrong. Hold on to your seat, because the next revelation is just around the corner.
Ms. Reed said he just texted her a couple weeks ago and said,
Dominique, I didn't know that he said.
So you're a changed man?
Like, the cycle is not gonna stop one right here.
I'm gonna get to the paternity results in a moment. I need to read the results of Mr. Wallace's lie detector test.
Okay, I didn't expect Ms. Austin's jaw to drop like that when the lie detector results hit the fan. The court reveals that Mr. Wallace admitted to juggling 4 other women like he's auditioning for a reality TV dating show. Ms. Austin looks like she's about to fall off her chair, realizing she's been played like a fiddle. Meanwhile, Mr. Wallace keeps trying to deny texting any of them, holding on to that story for dear life. Just wait for the next twist in this roller coaster ride.
Past 3 months, you had admitted in advance that you had sex with other women that weren't involved in this case, and the lie detector indicated that you were telling the truth.
And there it is, the classic reality check moment. After those shocking lie detector results, Ms. Austin finally sees Mr. Wallace's true colors and decides she's done with his nonsense. Judge Lake gives her a pep talk, reminding her that everyone's fallen for the wrong person at some point, turning heartbreak into a life lesson. Ms. Reed's out there applauding like it's a motivational seminar, giving support where it's due. Brace yourself because the revelations just keep coming.
By surprise, like you weren't expecting to hear that. Let's really keep it real. You're not the first woman that has loved the wrong man for too long. And Ms. Reed is clapping for you on, so you don't hold your head down, lift your head up.
Did Mr. Wallace just admit to being a serial fibber like it's no big deal? Judge Lake questions his logic, wondering why he can be honest with her, but not the women he's stringing along. Mr. Wallace, with all the casualness of someone discussing the weather, claims they already know who he is. Like that excuses everything. Judge Lake isn't having any of it, calling him out for being a Class A liar. Just when you think it's over, there's another surprise in store.
In advance of taking the lie detector test, you know, why even take the lie detector? I'll just tell the truth. You tell me all the truth, but you don't tell anybody you're sleeping with any. But you stand in here, and when I ask you something, you just say, yep, that's correct.
They know what I am. They know what I do.
Can you believe it? Mr. Wallace's courtroom exit looked like the climax of a dramatic movie, but then he comes back in, all apologetic. He gets emotional, talking about never having a father figure and wanting to do better for his kids, showing a side we haven't seen yet. Judge Lake is there with a metaphorical box of tissues, encouraging him to take this chance to grow and become a better man. Trust me, this next part is something you've got to see to believe.
Sometimes we have to have that in life, but I'm glad you're back.
I'd like to apologize to you in court, the bailiff, to Miss Reed and Miss Austin. Miss Roberts. Where I'm from, I never had a father.
Take your time.
It's hard not to cheer for Mr. Wallace as he tries to turn over a new leaf in this emotional confession scene. Judge Lake is practically a life coach at this point, offering him the resources to be the father and man he aspires to become. There's a real sense of redemption in the air as she stresses that honesty is where it all begins. And just when you think it's all settled, the next reveal will have you on the edge of your seat.
That's a tough exterior. The things and the issues you've been a victim of. Your childhood, not having a father. And I want to say to you in front of everybody, and that's what a boy would have done. And what did you do? You walked back in.
Did anyone else feel the suspense build up as we waited for those paternity test results?
When it comes to baby Danielle Wallace, Mr. Wallace, you are the father.
I gotta go.
Here we go. The curtain lifts. Mr. Lillard claims he opened the case after receiving a message from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son, Delvin Holt, last year. He alleges that for 20 years, he has been unsuccessfully urged by Ms. Holt to acknowledge paternity of Delvin. Buckle up because this roller coaster is just taking off.
Mr. Lillard, you say you were forced to open this case after receiving a message last year from Ms. Holt's 20-year-old son. You say you have unsuccessfully tried for 20 years to get Mr. Lillard to accept responsibility for your son.
You won't believe this throwback. Mr. Lillard recounts his high school romance with Ms. Holt in 1997, describing their close relationship and the emotional significance she held for him as his first love and his first heartbreak. This relationship set the stage for their current conflict regarding paternity. Strap, the next part is a real doozy.
Me and Ms. Holt met back in 1997, summer school, high school. She'd go out to eat with my mom, I'd take out to eat. I was in love with her. You know, I experienced a lot of things with Ms. Holt. She was the first.
Your first for a lot of experiences?
A lot of experience.
You've got to hear this bombshell. The turning point in their relationship came when Mr. Lillard caught Ms. Holt cheating. He describes skipping school to confront her, leading to a discovery that ended their relationship abruptly and left lasting emotional scars. Just when you think you've seen it all, plot thickens.
Well, on this very sunny, bright day, just decided not to be at school. Wasn't in our classes. We usually meet up, and so I tell you what, let me skip school myself. I left school, walked 2 miles to our family's home, knocked on their door, no answer. Looked through the peephole, see shadows moving all around, parked myself on that concrete style for 4 or 5 hours till they had to come out.
This twist is juicier than a primetime soap opera. Ms. Holt admits to having tested another man for paternity, revealing that Mr. Lillard was not the only potential father she considered. This complicates the case by suggesting multiple possible relationships during the conception period. Hang tight, the next revelation is head spinner.
I was already pregnant before that even happened.
And you gonna sleep with somebody else?
No, Gather, thank you very much. And you know that we was having unprotected sex, so therefore you cannot deny and say that.
From the mouth of the babe himself, Delvin speaks about his desire for closure and the impact of Mr. Lillard's denial on his life. He expresses a need to confirm his paternity, to move forward emotionally, highlighting the personal stakes involved in the case. Up next, the intrigue escalates. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Your Honor, my mom has always told me he was my father. Basically, came here to let him know I don't need a father, but I just really want to come to find out if he is so I can have closure, me and my.
I mean, you can tell on the pictures, they look just alike. It's not a secret.
It really it hurt me a little bit. Any kid needs a father, you feel me? Boy at that, so it was painful to know he didn't want to deal with me or nothing like that, but it brushed off growing up.
This part is as confusing as a maze. Mr. Lillard discusses previous DNA tests and the confusion surrounding their results, which purportedly excluded him as the father. This revelation adds a layer of doubt and mistrust to the proceeding. Brace for impact. The DNA results are about to drop.
Did you sign off on this?
Strange part, when I called them to get the paperwork to show that done this already.
But you did receive a result, you said. And what did that paperwork look like?
Numbers and all the matches, all that stuff, and down at the bottom in red, Darius J. Lillard could be excluded as the father. 'Cause I've had 4 of them done. So I trust me, I know.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. The court reveals the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lillard, you are not the father.
The drama hits the fan as Mr. Ball comes out swinging with some hefty accusations. Mr. Ball claims Ms. Cox told him she couldn't get pregnant and now alleges he is the father of her child. He argues that Ms. Cox was unfaithful during the conception period, a claim she and her friend confirmed. Strap in, it only gets wilder from here.
Either you were told by the Ms. Cox that she could not get pregnant and now she's claiming you argue she was sleeping with multiple men at the time she conceived and say her best friend confirmed that your other sexual relationships ended prior to sleeping, Mr. Ball.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think it's a straight shot, Ms. Cox throws in a curveball. Ms. Cox refutes Mr. Ball's accusations, stating her relationships with other men ended before their encounter. She believes Mr. Ball is the father of her daughter and is also countersuing him for an unpaid loan, adding a financial dispute to the paternity question. Brace yourself, because the plot is about to thicken.
You know, we were talking every day, morning, noon, night, we would talk every day. Maybe within the last 90 days of me, I was getting letters from her best friend stating to me that she was sleeping with other men. When I asked her about it, you know, she told me there's nothing to worry about. Whatever was going on, it's done with. Don't worry about it.
Grab your popcorn for this grocery store showdown. A dramatic recount by Mr. Ball describes a confrontation with a man he suspected was involved with Ms. Cox. This incident happened shortly after his release from prison, heightening the tension and suspicions regarding Ms. Cox's fidelity. You won't want to miss what comes next. It's a doozy.
I'm asking him, hey, what's going on, man? I'm hearing things. I'm hearing that, you know, you've been talking to my girl. I'm sitting there talking to this gentleman. I'm asking him, like, you know, what's going on? She know that we were hanging, we were talking.
He didn't even know who it was that I had relations after the grocery store.
I did know who it was.
Oh boy, here comes the best friend with some tea to spill. Ms. Cox admits to a physical relationship with another man during Mr. Ball's incarceration, but claims she disclosed this to Mr. Ball. The complication arises with revelations from Ms. Cox's best friend, who also has a child with Mr. Ball and allegedly still harbors feelings for him. Next up, the drama escalates. Stay tuned.
Did you tell Mr. Ball?
Yes, I did. I wrote him a letter and I told him everything, and he wrote back and still agreed to come home to hearing everything as long as everything was put to a stop. She beat me to the punch but my best friend at the time is his other child's mother.
Just when Mr. Ball thought he was out, they pull him back in with more drama. Upon his return, Mr. Ball finds evidence suggesting Ms. Cox was not only unfaithful, but also possibly lived with another man, contrary to her assertions that it was just a casual relationship. Hold on to your seat, because the next revelation is a real head spinner.
What I'm hearing is this guy was living there, staying there. He had keys to the place. She put him out.
When you got home, did you have any other indication that she was cheating?
You forgot about the time where I dropped you off with your mom? Into that big incident where I dropped you off at your mom's house, went and got then the time of me going to get my hair cut, coming back and picking her up.
It's getting hot in here with all these fiery allegations and sizzling photo evidence. The dispute deepens with allegations of Ms. Cox's ongoing relationship with another man, supported by deleted photos found by Mr. Ball. These photos show her intimate with another man, which she denies. The roller coaster isn't over yet. More twists are just around the corner.
Grabbing pictures off our computer, I pull up a picture.
Not with the guy. He knew about the guy.
And another guy. guy, and I asked her about it.
So what was in the picture?
Her arms around guys, kissing around guys.
No, it wasn't. And the pictures were deleted. They were in the recycling bin. He was looking for a reason to argue. Pictures were not even uploaded by me. They were uploaded by his child.
Cue the dramatic music because the birth story is about to unfold in full melodramatic glory. As Ms. Cox recounts the birth of their daughter and Mr. Ball's initial support, she highlights his refusal to sign the birth certificate due to doubts about paternity, which he later voices openly. The saga continues, and you're not going to believe what happens next.
And when it came down to signing the birth certificate, he wouldn't. He would not sign the birth certificate because he said he wanted to make.
I want to make it hard for you, but yet I'm there.
I offered him a DNA test in the hospital. He didn't want it. I made appointments for DNA tests and have been on my way. This man for the DNA test. He wants to give me stories. Oh, we don't. Why didn't we take care of this 3 years ago?
Witnesses step up to the plate, each adding their own flavor to this spicy story. Witnesses, including Mr. Ball's fiance and mother, provide their perspectives, hinting at a complex web of relationships and ongoing disputes affecting their views on the child's paternity. Gear up, because the testimonies are about to drop some bombshells.
What do you know about this situation?
From when me and him got together, right away an issue. The first day he came down my house, he was outside honking her horn, screaming, crying. I feel like the child is just a pawn to get him back. Everything is about him and her. It's not about the baby. Always about Jesse and...
A moment of truth arrives with all the subtlety of a marching band in a library. The climactic moment arrives as the judge reads the DNA test results.
Mr. Ball, you are her father.
Can you believe what just went down? Ms. Thompson hauls Mr. McKinley into court to drop the bombshell that he's allegedly the dad to 6-month-old Legend, all while pointing fingers at his wife for pushing him to deny it. She asserts his wife's meddling ways are a big reason for his refusal to acknowledge the baby. And oh boy, the tea just keeps spilling from here.
You are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove and his wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. You say his wife is petty and she is the cause of his paternity denials.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you seeing this unfold? Mr. McKinley owns up to the affair with Ms. Thompson, but writes it off as a fling gone wrong, urging her to step back and track down the real dad. He pleads for her to stop dragging him and his long-suffering wife through the mud, spotlighting the turmoil it's brought to his 17-year marriage. Buckle up, because it's about to get even wilder.
Mr. McKinley, you admit that Ms. Thompson was an affair gone wrong, and you say Ms. Thompson needs to leave you and your wife 17 years alone and find her baby's father. Is that correct?
Did you catch that bombshell? Ms. Thompson spills the beans on their fling, starting from a few likes and comments on Facebook, painting it as more of a casual hookup than a love story. She recalls how Mr. McKinley's persistent digital flirting eventually led her to cave and give him a shot. The plot thickens dramatically in the next clip.
I was on Facebook. He was always liking my pictures. He was commenting on my pictures. He was always trying to get attention, to be noted. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty. I gave him a chance because I was like, okay, I want to go out on a date. I haven't even started. So I'm gonna let them hang themselves.
Okay, let her get the story out, then I'm going to
I'm gonna let them hang
Kinley. I want to hear your side.
Because like I said, I'm 25 and I'm just trying to tell you the story because you asked me.
How wild was that confession? During a heated exchange, Ms. Thompson admits they sometimes threw caution to the wind during their hookups, hinting this recklessness might explain her pregnancy. The conversation heats up as accusations fly about Mr. McKinley capitalizing on her being tipsy one night. Trust me, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I dated him. We had rap in common because I rap, and I write music. I took him to the studio and sexual encounter. Protected ourselves majority of the time. I had been drinking. We had messed around. I wasn't sober enough to make the right decisions. That's a lie. He took advantage of that.
That twist was unexpected. A fiery debate erupts over their flirty social media antics, with Mr. McKinley accusing Ms. Thompson of making the first move, which spiraled into the mess they're in now. The courtroom erupts into chaos as everyone chimes in, and the drama gets dialed up to 11. The next moment is even more jaw-dropping.
I post a picture of me leaving the studio. Ms. Thompson got in my DM, when you gonna bring me to the studio? I said, well, I don't know. Do you rap? Like, yeah, she rap. I said, well, okay.
He can barely talk.
I live today.
You know what?
Then the next day, she got in my inbox. I thought you were gonna bring me to the studio.
Who saw that coming? Mrs. McKinley, the scorned wife, dives into the tale of how she stumbled upon the affair by busting into a room to find Ms. Thompson and her hubby in a compromising position. She challenges the innocence of their meeting, suggesting something fishy was going on. The upcoming revelation is going to knock your socks off.
One of the girls up there told me that my husband have a young girl in the room. So I knew I had a picture how the girl looked. So I went over myself, knocked on the door. So he opened the door. I went in there. She laying in the bed, under the cover.
Whose house was this?
I took the cover off her head. Damn, what's going on? He's like, well, we doing music. Sit down. I was like, no, I won't sit down.
Music in the bed, under the cover.
This just keeps getting juicier. Ms. Thompson recounts a wild trip to New Orleans with Mr. McKinley, where she was introduced to his whole family, suggesting things were serious between them. She reflects on their complex relationship, admitting it was deeper than she initially initially let on. Brace yourself, because there's more drama ahead.
Me and him ended up going to New Orleans, and I met his entire family.
Because
how is it that he
homeless.
was able to take me to his...
You were going places?
I went to New Orleans with him, regardless of struggle. I was struggling, and I had somewhere to go, but if he want, I was with him, so he introduced me to his family, his sister, his cousin. I went swimming. I'm talking about it's like I'm his girlfriend. You know? But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this man too old, but at the time, it's fun right now, because I'm young, and I'm enjoying his company.
Can you feel the tension in the room? In a pivotal moment, Ms. Thompson points out a peculiar genetic trait, their child's overlapping toes, which she claims links Mr. McKinley to the paternity. This genetic clue throws another layer of intrigue into the ongoing paternity saga. The tension is about to explode. Stay tuned.
Let me tell you something. I called him in the hospital on the second day because I looked at my child and I said, dang, I'ma own up to that. I did not want him to be the father, but my child sure do got a lot of... This evidence shows that he has a stack. He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic things about my son. I told him about it. Oh, yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes.
You want to see my toes?
Let me see. Take them off. You got on... Did you put on socks?
The overlapping of toes, and it didn't come from you.
He admitted that
it affects an estimated 10% of the population.
What a turning point. The judge steps in to address the swirling emotions and relational chaos, stressing the importance of clear communication and mature handling of the situation, especially for little Legend's sake. The emotional climax is just around the corner. Don't go anywhere.
First, I wanted you to get the chip off your shoulder because I thought maybe after you got it off, we could get to really who you are and how this happened. What are we gonna do?
I didn't expect
how do we do that? Of course you did.
I made a mistake.
Now, if you all are trying to see the child, that's what I want to get to next. Legend's born. You say you want to be a part of Legend's life until you figure out if, in fact, it's your biological child.
Yes.
Here comes the big reveal. As the court reaches its peak, the results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
In a courtroom showdown for the ages, Ms. Mannion stands her ground, firmly asserting that Mr. Horn's the biological father of her son after a wild weekend decades ago. This bold claim cranks up the tension as she is confident against Mr. Horn's vehement denial. Strap in! The courtroom roller coaster is just taking off.
Ms. Mannion, you admit to this wild weekend of sex, but claim you have no doubt Mr. Horn is your son's biological father.
That is correct.
Now, you claim you received a shocking phone call 5 years ago. Tell the court what happened.
I was at work. I got a phone call from a family member who never calls me at work.
Mr. Horn fires back with a zinger, casting aspersions on Ms. Mannion's past and suggesting that her extensive liaisons make his paternity improbable. This bombshell amplifies the courtroom drama, showcasing Mr. Horn's no-holds-barred defense strategy. Buckle up because the fireworks are about to intensify.
I got the phone number from my family member and I called Mr. Haight, kind of told him, I was like, you know, do you know how your mom is? I mean, she's like a railroad track. She's been laid all across America.
Try to be respectful, but I get it was your opinion that Ms. Mannion had been promiscuous. And so you had the phone conversation and you basically told him.
The twist of logic that would make a detective proud, Ms. Mannion explains that since another man was conclusively not the father, DNA test and all, Mr. Horn must be the dad. This pivotal moment in the paternity puzzle simplifies the complex question into a binary outcome. The plot thickens, so keep your eyes peeled for what's next.
He is the father because I was in another relationship. A paternity test did come out that the other guy was not the father. And there's only two people that I was with during that time.
You had a DNA test on the other one, and so you feel like it has to be Mr. Horn from this point.
After the conception episode, there was zero chit-chat or romance between Ms. Mannion and Mr. Horn, just utter radio silence. This snippet underscores the fleeting and spontaneous nature of their past encounter. The courtroom's next twist is sure to raise some eyebrows.
I only slept with Mr. Horn twice. One that night and one the next day.
Basically moved on. You guys did not. Did you ever hear she was pregnant?
I found out that she was pregnant after she had the child. I ran in the dude that she was dating at the time. He said he took a DNA test, but he never seen the results, so therefore he could not be the father. I call it like I see it, she's a husband, so there's no way I could be the dad.
Throwing another curveball into the mix, Ms. Mannion admits she initially suspected another beau was the baby daddy, which led to a paternity scramble involving a DNA test. This adds a delicious layer of complexity to the already spicy case. Stay tuned, the revelations are about to get juicier.
Did you immediately think it was Mr. Horn's child? You thought it was someone else, and that's the man that you had tested?
Well, I did not pay for it. His family did.
Did you bring copies of DNA testing results? Proof.
I did not get the results. All I know is he told me.
I even called her family after this because the said dude that she thought was the father gave me the phone number because I was like, you know, if I got a kid, I want to be part of the kid's life.
In a moment of soap opera-worthy suspense, Ms. Mannion finally spills the beans to her son about Mr. Horn's potential daddy status only when directly questioned. This delay in dropping the paternal bombshell adds a thick layer of drama and emotional turmoil for their son, Andrew. The response to this bombshell is up next, and it's a doozy.
Did you truly believe Mr. Horn was father? You've admitted in court today that there possibly could be another man, but they told you the DNA test said it proved it wasn't true. So did you ever think to maybe fill your son in and say, well, there also was another guy?
The other guy did sign a birth certificate because he believed also that he was the father.
Amid the emotional whirlwind, Andrew steps up with a heart-wrenching appeal, hoping to forge a meaningful connection with Mr. Horn if the DNA aligns. His yearning for a stable paternal figure is palpable and tugs at the heartstrings. The emotional climax is just around the corner, and it's a tearjerker.
I'm hoping that I actually found my father.
So since you were 12 years old, you've been carrying the name Kevin Horn in the back of your mind. It's the first time you've ever laid eyes.
Yeah. Other than a picture on the internet when I found the information. My grandmother-in-law, all the information that he gave her, did investigative work myself to find him.
Cue the dramatic pause as the judge delivers the much-anticipated DNA verdict.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Horn, you are his father.
I told you.
Can you believe what just happened? Ms. Rainey addresses the court, explaining that she is requesting paternity tests for her 2 children and is suing Mr. Matthews for half of the expenses incurred for their care. She admits to a relationship with another man during conception due to Mr. Matthews' refusal to accept responsibility. Just when you think it's intense, the next moment takes it a step further.
Ms. Rainey, you are here today requesting 2 paternity tests and suing the man you say is father of children. You admit that you slept with one other man during the time of conception, but you argue that was only because Mr. Matthews refused to accept responsibility.
Did that really just unfold before our eyes? Mr. Matthews expresses his doubt about being the father, accusing Ms. Rainey of promiscuity and questioning the paternity because of her actions, including naming one child after another man. His statement heightens the tension, setting the stage for the emotional and confrontational nature of the proceedings. You won't believe what comes next.
In your statement, you claim every reason to doubt you are the father of Ms. Rainey's children. You say she is known to be promiscuous and even named her son after another man. You say you are confident the children are not yours. That will be proven when today's DNA results are revealed.
Yes, Your Honor.
This exchange is escalating quickly. A heated exchange ensues about the date of conception and the involvement of Mr. Matthews around the time Ms. Rainey went into labor. Mr. Matthews denies consistent involvement, while Ms. Rainey confronts him about an ultimatum she issued regarding marriage and paternity acknowledgement, leading her to name their son Solid after another man. The drama ramps up even more in the following exchange.
When I found out I was pregnant, I told him and the other person that it was between.
You weren't sleeping with anybody else during the time of conception.
I slept with him and Rondell.
It's not possible that it can only be between me and one other person. She is known to have family trees. When I say this, I mean it's like, no, just a few times.
We had sex June 23rd.
Just a few
the
times.
day I went in labor. When my child was born, we sent him a picture on the phone of my child.
This is a pivotal revelation. Ms. Rainey recounts their long-term relationship and financial dynamics, highlighting Mr. Matthews' reluctance to commit or financially contribute meaningfully. This discussion reveals the depth of their personal and financial entanglements and the strain on their relationship. Keep watching. The intensity doesn't drop here.
You're saying that you all were together.
I dealt with him for 8.5 years. Yes,
Right.
I did. I was in love with this man.
He basically was not going to do what you, when he said, name him after the other guy, you called his bluff and said, and I will.
It wasn't a bluff.
So guess what? Why not?
How intense can this get? The dialogue turns to the nature of their relationship, with Ms. Rainey arguing that their long-term sexual relationship implies deeper feelings, which Mr. Matthews denies, revealing a stark emotional disconnect and lack of responsibility towards their children. And it only gets more heated from here.
So, Mr. Matthews, you're admitting that you continually sleep with her and have at least a sexual relationship with her.
Sex is sex. It ain't nothing important like, ain't no,
Well, it's
ain't nothing
important
deep.
when it produces
Who
people.
gonna have sex with somebody for 8.5 years and don't have no feelings, period. Let's be real.
Me?
You ain't finna deal with me for 8.5 years off and on.
So what would make you think I got something to do?
This part is heart-wrenching. Ms. Rainey shares her efforts to support herself and her children through various jobs, including dancing and waitressing, emphasizing her independence and the lack of support from Mr. Matthews. This moment underscores her resilience and determination to provide for her family despite challenges. What she reveals next is a must-see.
So you had your own place?
Always had my own place.
And you made your own money?
Own money.
You were having
having, whether it was working on a pole, working at a restaurant, group home, anything, I got it.
Right.
And you had half of it, so what you complaining for?
I wasn't complaining. When I was
Mr.
getting half
Matthews,
of
what do you say? She's
she'll
saying
give
that.
me her money now. Yeah.
So you're criticizing her, and yet you openly admit you were living off of her and letting her take care of you.
You'll want to pay close attention here. A poignant moment arises as Ms. Rainey discusses the cycle of absence and neglect from male figures in her life, including her father and Mr. Matthews. She expresses a strong desire to break this cycle for the sake of her children, emphasizing the importance of parental presence and support. The emotional stakes are raised even higher next.
I need to understand from you. You stand here, you're very strong, you're opinionated, I can do this, I got my own life, and yet your actions in staying with a man that treats you this way for over 8 years, that don't add up to me. That's not what a strong woman does. I had a rough life. When you don't have nobody and that's all you have is somebody that's really nothing to lean on, that's what you gotta do.
This testimony is crucial. The court examines financial contributions to the children's needs, with Mr. Matthews admitting to minimal involvement. This leads to the judge reinforcing the need for Mr. Matthews to take financial responsibility, setting the stage for the final judgment. The conclusion of this trial will astonish you.
Are these your only possible children, Mr. Matthews?
No.
Besides these two?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you take care of those children?
No.
I do what I can. I talk to them, I tell them stuff, I teach them like how to not be like me, how not to.
6 kids, maybe 8. You need to be figuring out how to make some money because you gotta take care of these kids.
Right.
Financially as well.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for. The DNA results confirm.
In the case of Rainey versus Matthews, when it comes to Renaya Matthews, Mr. Matthews, you are indeed her father.
Buckle up because the courtroom drama is just warming up. Judge Lake kicks off the proceedings with a bombshell. Ms. Ray is entangled in a love triangle and isn't sure who fathered her son, Jordan. She openly admits the emotional chaos this has caused. Hang tight because the room's about to heat up even more.
So you confess you got caught in a love triangle, and now, though it breaks heart, you don't know which man fathered your son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here's where the plot twists again. Ms. Ray spills the tea on her complicated personal saga, explaining how she took a break from Mr. Wise and found solace, and maybe more, in Mr. Eastham during a few wild nights. As the mystery deepens, the next revelation will definitely turn heads.
At the end of the summer in 2011, me and Mr. Wise was on a break. A longtime friend of mine, shoulder to cry on. We had 2 different occasions. We had got drunk and partied together. We do not know if we had sex. It is a possibility he could be Jordan's father.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's getting bumpy. Mr. Wise reveals a whopper. He only found out about the other potential daddy 2 months post Jordan's arrival, thanks to Ms. Ray keeping it under wraps. This explosive tidbit shines a glaring spotlight on the emotional turmoil swirling around. And just when you think it can't get crazier, it does.
2 months after Jordan was born.
That is when I told Josh that Dave could possibly be the father, because 2 nights that we had partied together, we do not know what happened either. I was honestly scared to death. It's because we had twins that passed away. Jordan was not Josh's child.
Gear up for a curveball. During an emotionally charged showdown, court examines side-by-side photos of Jordan and Mr. Wise, leading to a tense moment of acknowledgments about their similarities. Just when you think you've seen it all, the next clip will throw you for a loop.
Jordan on the left, and then you, Mr. Wise, on the right. He's starting to look like you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think he looks just like Josh.
You love that little boy.
Both of them.
He calls you daddy.
Brace for a heart tug. Both gentlemen lay bare their emotional connections with Jordan, each asserting his fatherly bond. This poignant scene underscores the emotional stakes involved, far beyond the mere legalities of paternity. The next part, it's a real tearjerker.
It is what it is. Ain't nobody gonna take my son from me. Ain't nobody gonna take him from me neither. I'm just trying to.
I feel like since day one you've tried to hold that of you being Jordan's dad over my head.
Let me say this. Have I skipped out?
You have been there and you have been good to him.
And yes, that's the only reason that I feel like that's the only reason you're around, Felicia.
I feel like both of you guys are only good to Jordan.
Keep your eyes peeled. The drama escalates. A fiery debate erupts over past relationships, betrayals, and alleged sabotage, painting a tangled web of emotions and accusations. This intense exchange sets the stage for even more jaw-dropping moments to follow.
If she was happy in the past year and a half, how come me and her had occurrences in the past year? Ask her that. Because
you ran back to your baby's mom as well. That too can play that game, baby.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I sure.
Sound like I'm no hoe that just ran around.
I'm not saying that, but
amid the emotional whirlwind, a clear priority emerges. Ms. Ray declares her focus on Jordan's welfare and her her own stability, sidelining the paternity drama. As she reiterates her commitment to her son, the stage is set for a verdict that will shock everyone. Prepare for an emotional roller coaster up next.
I'm here because that little boy on that TV screen, to give him peace of mind.
You all have painted the picture.
I don't want either one of them, Your Honor. I love Josh and I genuinely love Dave. He is my best friend. I want to focus on that baby right there and then build a relationship with a stranger that I've never met before. But right now, Jordan is my focus.
As the verdict looms, the tension could be cut with a knife. The build-up to Judge Lake revealing the paternity test results is palpable, with everyone on edge about the potentially life-altering outcome. Get ready, because the reveal is nothing short of breathtaking.
The important thing is you gotta get out of the denial. You gotta act like all under control in this situation and decide, fight that urge to go from one man to the next. That's what you've been doing. And they just sitting around here waiting for the serve. They're just waiting.
Grab the tissue, here comes the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Wise is his father.
I told you.
Can you believe what just went down? Savannah Osborne, alongside her aunt, strides into court to declare that Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is her biological dad. They've demanded a paternity test to clear the air once and for all. Savannah confirms this boldly when prodded by the judge. Buckle up, because the roller coaster is just starting.
You are here to prove Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is your dad. You and your aunt petitioned the court for paternity test, finally prove the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you see that curveball coming? Miss Osborne, Savannah's mom, admits she let her daughter believe Mr. Fitzmaurice was her dad for years. But plot twist, she now claims another dude is the real dad, and she's here to prove it. She unpacks the messy backstory that led them to this courtroom showdown. The plot thickens, so stay tuned.
Well, I've always grew up thinking that Billy was my father and that I resembled him. And I even moved in with my dad's side of the family. And then all of a sudden, when I was about 12, I got told otherwise.
Hold the phone. What a bombshell. At age 12, while chilling and watching TV, Savannah's mom drops a massive revelation. Mr. Fitzmaurice might not be her father. This threw Savannah for a loop, sending her scrambling to call her aunt for support. You'll want to stick around because what happens next is even juicier.
What happened when you were 12?
We were just sitting watching TV, and suddenly she looks at me, she says, you know, there's a possibility that another man could be your father.
And what was your reaction?
At the moment, I didn't know what to do. Kind of just left the room, went and called my aunt.
And your aunt, Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks, do you remember that call?
Yes, I do.
Well, this is a plot twist. Savannah's mom confesses to juggling romances with both Mr. Fitzmaurice and another man when Savannah was conceived, admitting either could be the father. She leans toward the other guy being the dad, based on gut feel more than hard proof. The emotional stakes are sky high. Don't go anywhere.
I told her that another guy could be her father, but I never heard that Billy Jack was her father because his family put in her head that he was her father. I just kind of went with it.
For 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father.
But she's living with his family.
Yes, and at the time,
Talk about an emotional whirlwind. Savannah openly discusses how her mom's revelations have turned her world upside down, tangling up her sense of identity and family ties. This chapter of her life has been fraught with confusion and distress. The upcoming scene is even more tear-jerking.
Because I just want to know the truth of who my father is. I shouldn't have to wait until I was 12 years old to figure this out. I should have known that there was not a possibility before I grew attached to my father and grew a bond with my whole family.
Your mom kind of dropped a bomb on you at 12 years. When you hear that, and you had to live with this now for 8 years, this must hurt you very much.
Yes, it does.
You won't believe your ears with this one. Savannah confronts her mom in court over the lifelong confusion and pain caused by her past decisions. Her mom offers up an apology, attempting to explain her young and naive mindset at the time. As the truth edges closer, the air is thick with anticipation.
It really feels horrible to not know who my real father is. After growing all these years to believe somebody else was my father, and it couldn't be.
I am sorry, Savannah. When you was young, you wouldn't have been able to handle it as well 9 or 10 as you would at 12 and 13. So I waited to help you.
The suspense is killing me. As the episode reaches its climax, the court prepares to reveal the paternity results. Savannah shares her desperate need for truth to possibly repair her relationship with her mom and find some semblance of peace. The big reveal is imminent, and it promises to be a stunner.
At the end of the day, it must hurt that you had to drag your mother to...
Yes, it really does, but I need to know the truth. I was brought up on a lie. I have to know.
You have tears in your eyes.
Because
the young woman you believe is your niece.
And I love her dearly. And we were always told from day one from Donna that Savannah was our I call her our baby, but our niece.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Aunt Brooks takes the stand to discuss the family's initial acceptance of Savannah based on her mom's claims during her pregnancy. This layer of family drama adds depth to the already complicated narrative. Brace yourself. The next disclosure changes everything.
When he brought Donna home, we were a little shocked because was working as a stripper. We didn't know what to believe, but we believed my brother, Donna, both when they said that Billy was her biological father, that she was pregnant with Savannah, and that was
Billy Jack is the one that took it upon himself that Savannah was his when I told him I was pregnant. I had told both men that I was pregnant.
The tension is almost palpable, with relationships hanging in the balance. The emotional significance of the upcoming DNA results can't be overstated. It involves potential father-daughter bonds and a strained mother-daughter relationship. Ready or not, the results are about to drop, and they're nothing short of explosive.
I don't want her to have to lie to me anymore, and I want to have a better bond with my mom. But until I know the truth, I don't think that's going to happen.
And I also would like to say this is dividing our family, so we need to know the truth. And you know, Jasmine could also be my brother's child.
Well, it seems like the stakes are very high. Got a mother-daughter relationship on the line, in addition to father-daughter and the family that raised her. I have the results for you. I think it's time.
Grab some popcorn. Here comes the big moment. The paternity results are finally unveiled.
It has been determined by court. Ms. Brooks and Savannah are related.
Strap in for a wild ride. Ms. Murray strides into court with a mission. She's here to get Mr. Lee to finally acknowledge he's the father of her 14-month-old daughter, Winter. She's fed up with his denials and demands that he steps up after today's DNA test results are revealed. You won't believe how Mr. Lee responds to this, so keep watching.
Ms. Murray, you are here today to get Mr. Lee to stop denying that he fathered your 14-month-old daughter. You demand he man up and own up to his responsibility after today's DNA test.
Your Honor.
Here's where it gets spicy. Mr. Lee throws a curveball by admitting to a brief fling with Ms. Murray, but vehemently denies fathering her child. He points to a tangled web of relationships on her part and his belief that she confirmed not being pregnant by him as reasons to doubt his paternity. Just when you think you've heard it all, the next part adds even more intrigue.
You had a one-night stand with Ms. Murray before her pregnancy, but claims she later confirmed she was not pregnant by you. You admit to one night, but state she had multiple men and there's no way you are her child father.
Yes, you are.
The courtroom heat turns up a notch. Ms. Murray labels Mr. Lee a deadbeat in front of the judge, sparking a fiery exchange. Mr. Lee retorts by mentioning his 6 other children and insists that Winter isn't his, accusing Ms. Murray of trying to trap him because of his reputation as a good father. Buckle up because the drama intensifies from here.
Mr. Lee, a deadbeat. He has not done anything for Winter.
That's ludicrous. I have 6 other kids.
Exactly.
And I am not, because she's trying to pin this baby on me because she know I'm a good guy and I'm a good father.
You're not a good anything. You're a deadbeat. You barely care of them 6 kids that you got.
And Winter's 15 months and you're saying that Mr. Lee hasn't done anything for?
Dive deeper into their backstory. This part is juicy. We learn how Ms. Murray, an exotic dancer, met Mr. Lee, her customer for a decade, setting the stage for their complex relationship. Their connection evolved from business to personal, muddling the waters around the paternity dispute with layers of personal and emotional history. You'll want to stick around as the layers of their path continue to unravel.
I met Mr. Lee at the club. I used to be a dancer, and he was my customer for about 10 years. So that's really how I met him. He was infatuated with, but once he got to know Demiki, he did not like me, and he's taking it out on his innocent child.
But he was your customer for 10 years.
Yes.
Hold on to your seats for this confession. During a detailed discussion about their initial hookup, Mr. Lee admits to breaking the golden rule of not using a dancer's condom, suspecting it might have been sabotage. This key moment sheds light on trust issues and the pivotal night that could have led to Winter's conception. And just when you think it can't get more complicated, the plot thickens even more.
Well, it was after the club, text me, I came over, and unfortunately, I broke the golden rule.
You broke the what?
The golden rule.
The golden rule? What's the golden rule?
Never use the stripper's condom.
It was not mine, Fabe.
Oh, the golden rule is never use a condom that the stripper gives.
You bring on, and I can't.
You might want to sit down for this twist. The plot thickens as they reveal a second unprotected encounter, justified by Mr. Lee's mistaken belief that Ms. Murray was already pregnant. This crucial slip-up falls right within the probable window for conceiving Winter, highlighting the chaos and miscommunication defining their relationship. As the tension builds, get ready for the bombshell about to drop.
So how long after she told you not pregnant, how long after that did you sleep with each other?
Like 2 weeks.
You meet up again, have sex again. again, you don't use protection. And you claim that's because she said she's already pregnant. You didn't have any proof of that.
But see, the thing about it is, I always thought.
The grand finale is nothing short of explosive. The DNA results are finally disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Lee, you are the father.
Is that what your baby say?
Get ready for a roller coaster. At the beginning of the episode, the plaintiff, Mr. Thompson, comes out swinging, asserting that he, not Mr. Fresneda, is the biological father of Ms. Jasmine Robinson. Despite never having met her, he is confident that the DNA test will prove his paternity today. Strap in, because this is just the warm-up act.
And you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Fresneda, to court to prove that you not fathered Ms. Jasmine Robinson. You've never met Ms. Robinson, but say today you'll prove she's yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Brace yourselves for this declaration. Mr. Fresneda, who was married to Ms. Robinson's mother, steps up with confidence, claiming that today's DNA test results will confirm him as the biological father. His certainty sets the stage for a contentious dispute over paternity. The air is getting thick with tension, and there's more to come.
Fresneda, you were married to Ms. Robinson's mother and claim today's DNA test result will confirm that you are the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things just got real. As Ms. Robinson is escorted into the courtroom, a totally out-of-line comment from the plaintiff's side throws a curveball, which Judge Lake immediately shuts down. This moment heightens the tension in the courtroom, underlining the personal stakes involved. Buckle up, the courtroom drama is ramping up.
Before we start the case, Ron, can you escort Ms. Robinson into the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please, thank you.
I have to stand right here.
Mr. Thompson, why did you finally decide to reach out to Ms. Robinson?
The plot thickens deliciously here. Mr. Thompson dives into his backstory, explaining his reason for reaching out to Ms. Robinson, citing a past relationship with her mother and suggestions from family members that Robinson resembled. This revelation adds a layer of personal and historical complexity to the case. Things are about to get even spicier.
Me and her mother had relations while Miss Fresneda was away. When Miss Fresneda came back into the picture, I stopped seeing Sonia and she was pregnant. The child was born. Family members came to me stating, that she looks like me, things of that nature. Sonia said no, who she got pregnant by.
Cue the shock and awe. Jasmine Robinson is floored by the revelation of another potential father, stating she had no prior knowledge of Mr. Thompson's assertions. Her emotional response underscores the personal impact of the paternity dispute. The revelations keep coming, and they're jaw-dropping.
I wouldn't have expected that my dad, that I know as my dad, to not be my dad because he never treated me no different, so I would never suspect it.
Now, he says he heard things from your family members. You've never heard those murmuring whispers through the grapevine?
Nobody never told me anything. They just left me in the dark. Nobody said nothing to me about it.
Hold on to your coffee for this bombshell. The emotional weight of the case deepens as Mr. Thompson reveals that Ms. Robinson's mother has passed away. He claims it was her dying wish to acknowledge Mr. Fresneda as the father, yet he remains determined to prove his paternity. Stay tuned, because this emotional roller coaster is far from over.
It's sorry to say, but I got a phone call saying that she had passed away, and I was like,
Are you speaking of Jasmine's mother?
It was her wishes to say that it was Mr. Fresneda's baby. They raised her, but I'm here today to prove that I am the father. In my heart, she's my daughter.
This part is a real doozy. The drama escalates when Ms. Robinson recounts how Mr. Thompson first contacted her via Facebook, hinting at a secret about her paternity. This digital encounter introduces a modern element to the unfolding family drama. Hang tight, because the emotional stakes are about to soar even higher.
June 2010, he had messaged me on Facebook. The first message in was like, hey, tell your mom that I said hi. But I just brushed it off. I'm like, my mom has her own Facebook page, so I just left it alone. I didn't say anything about it. 5 years later, he had reached out to me again. I have a copy of Facebook message.
I'd like to see that.
Get ready for the family fireworks. As Ms. Robinson seeks validation of Mr. Thompson's claims, she turns to her Aunt Felicia and her presumed father, Mr. Fresneda, both of whom confirm the long-standing suspicion about her paternity. The family's intertwined reactions add depth to the narrative, painting a picture of hidden truth and communal secrecy. The next twist, it's a real kicker.
I was like, yeah, right. That's all I could think. Like, this is crazy. Like, who guy telling me that he's my dad? I thought it was a joke at first, kind of. And so I had called my Aunt Felicia. Guy named Ladner Thompson's messaging me on Facebook saying that he's my dad. And then she was like, what's his name? And I had said Ladner Thompson. And she, oh my God. Oh, I'm like, oh my God, what?
And now for a twist you didn't see coming. Aunt Felicia's testimony provides historical insight, confirming that Ms. Robinson's mom consistently named Mr. Fresneda as the father. Her account adds credibility to the established family narrative, yet hints at underlying doubts about the paternity. The upcoming reveal is poised to shake things up.
Who did your late sister name as father? Mr. Fresneda was always father that her late mother.
Absolutely.
Did she ever mention to you that Mr. Thompson could potentially be Ms. Robinson's father?
She always denied it. If we brought it to her attention, she always said that Ladner was not Jasmine's father.
Ready for the grand finale? The climax of the episode occurs when Judge Lake reads the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Thompson. You are her father.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Mr. Belding throws a wild pitch by suspecting that his father might be the biological father of his ex-girlfriend, Ms. Marsh's child, Jordan. This curveball comes from the twisted living setup where his dad bunked up with Ms. Marsh. Adding more spice, the court plans to whip out a lie detector test to dig deep into Ms. Marsh's dealings, Mr. Belding's dad.
You claim little Jordan's biological father may be your own father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've also petitioned the court for a lie detector test for Ms. Marsh to determine the extent of her relationship with your dad. Mr. Belding's father will also be joining us on to that accusation in just a few moments.
Ms. Marsh stands her ground, defending her choice to shelter Mr. Belding's dad, arguing she was basically the last resort due to his tough luck with family and friends. The Belding squad counters with a why not elsewhere argument, painting a picture of a family drama thicker than a Thanksgiving gravy. This moment just adds more layers to the already complex relationship pretzel.
With me and my mom, as a matter of fact, and he slept in a totally different room. It was a 3-bedroom house. We never slept
the first house.
And we've always
several.
had more than 3 rooms.
Out of all the places you could live?
He had nowhere to go. Literally, I asked her and his sister said, no, I'm not gonna let a man I call my dad stay on the streets.
Accusations start flying like popcorn at a food fight about Ms. Marsh's loyalty and who really fathered her child. Mr. Belding and his mom drop bombshells about community gossip and past paternity tests, pointing fingers at other potential daddies. This chapter turns the courtroom into a reality show set on high drama.
She's already had one man tested before.
I didn't have him tested. He had her tested. I know who the father of my daughter is, and is this man right here.
She thinks Zach's the dad, but he can't do nothing with her. He's not allowed. Except for the night you spent the night and you had sex with her, which was just 2 months, Your Honor.
We didn't have sex. You're
so together for a year. She must be sleeping around, is all I have to say.
No.
Now we hear from Mr. Belding's father, right at the eye of the storm, defending his honor against claims of an inappropriate relationship with Ms. Marsh. He's adamant about his innocence, throwing a wrench into the scandal machine. His testimony is crucial, aiming to clear the air around the whispers and raised eyebrows.
Kind of. I mean, the schedules between her mother's schedule, my schedule, and Amber's schedule, there was always someone there to take care of the baby.
How do you feel your son is accusing you of being the father of Ms. Marsh?
It's a little frustrating. I feel kind of demeaned by it, and I have never laid a finger on Amber Marsh.
Judge Lake steps in and turns up the heat, questioning the appropriateness of Ms. Marsh's decision to share a bed with Mr. Belding's father. Ms. Marsh scrambles to explain the logistics behind their shared living, which sounds about as convincing as a soggy alibi. The judge isn't buying what she's selling, and the tension is palpable.
In my 3-bedroom apartment, it was different rooms. And then when we lived at my mom's, I worked 3rd shift and he worked 1st. We slept in the same bed, but not together.
See who's lying? Our story isn't changing like hers.
At first, we slept in different rooms.
Do you think it's appropriate for you to be sharing a bed on?
Well, we don't sleep in the same room.
His father?
DNA test results finally hit the air, and boom.
Mr. Belding Jr., you are her father.
That's my baby.
The courtroom drama kicks off with a bang. Ms. Thompson brings Mr. McKinley to court to prove that he is the father of her 6-month-old son, Legend. She claims Mr. McKinley's wife is influencing his denial of paternity due to pettiness. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Strap in for a roller coaster ride.
Ms. Thompson, you are summoning Mr. McKinley to court to prove to him and wife that he fathered your 6-month-old son, Legend. You say his wife is petty, and she is the cause of his paternity denial.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things heat up quickly here. Mr. McKinley admits the affair with Ms. Thompson was a mistake and insists that she should stop bothering him and his wife and find the real father of her child. He wishes to remove himself from the situation entirely. Keep your eyes peeled, the plot thickens.
Mr. McKinley, you admit that Ms. Thompson was an affair gone wrong, and you say Ms. Thompson needs to leave you and your wife 17 years alone, find her baby's father. Is that correct?
This is where it gets juicy. Ms. Thompson describes how their relationship began, through interactions on Facebook, leading to a physical relationship. She explains that their encounters were generally protected, except on occasions when she drank too much, which she regrets. What she reveals next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
I was on Facebook. He was always liking my pictures. He was always trying to get attention, to be noticed. One day, I finally gave him a chance because he was real thirsty. So I'm gonna let them hang themselves.
Okay, let her get the story out, then I'm gonna come to you, Mr. Kinley. I want to hear your side.
Because like I said, I'm 5 and I'm just trying to tell you the story because you asked me.
Here comes a curveball. When questioned about his marriage status during their relationship, Mr. McKinley had misled Ms. Thompson by by claiming he was separated, which was false. This led to further complications in their affair. Buckle up for the ensuing mayhem.
Did you know he was married?
He told me that he was separated.
She
which
lied.
was
She
true.
know, Your Honor.
They
And
weren't together.
I went on his Facebook. She's always posting new pictures and this and that in his
Because
DM.
I went in
his private.
And the plot thickens. Mrs. McKinley confronts Mr. McKinley and Ms. Thompson at a location where she finds them together, challenging the nature of their meeting. The confrontation reveals deeper issues and mistrust between all parties involved. Watch how the tension escalates in the next act.
One of the girls up there told me that my husband have a young girl in the room. So I knew I had a picture how. So I went over myself, knocked on the door. So he opened the door. I went in there. She laying in the bed, under the cover.
Whose house was this?
I took the cover off her head, asking him, what's going on? He's like, well, we doing music. Sit down. I'm like, no, I won't sit down. And that's how I found out. I had an idea it was her. I read his Facebook. They on there flirting with each other on Facebook.
The stakes are higher than ever. Ms. Thompson discusses the dynamics of their relationship, including a trip to New Orleans where she met Mr. McKinley's family, further complicating the paternity issue. She expresses mixed feelings about the relationship's impact on her life. The suspense doesn't let up. What's next is even more gripping.
Me and him ended up going to New Orleans, and I met his entire family. How is it that he was able to take me to his daughter, his father? So yeah, I had a struggle. I was struggling, and I had somewhere to go. But if he went, I was with him. He introduced me to his family, his sister, his cousin. I went swimming. I'm talking about it's like I'm his girlfriend, you know. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this man too old. But at the time, it's fun right now because I'm young and I'm enjoying his company.
Now for a real showstopper. The court delves into the physical evidence presented by Ms. Thompson, suggesting a genetic link between Mr. McKinley and her son based on a physical trait known as stag toe. The discussion includes a tense moment where Ms. Thompson asks Mr. McKinley to show his toes in court to prove the child's paternity. You won't believe what happens next.
This evidence shows that he has stag toe. He grew into it, but when he was born, it's genetic. I asked Terrell about my son. I told him about it. Oh yeah. So if that ain't your baby, take your shoe off. Let me see your toes. You take them off. You got on. Did you put on socks? He admitted that he had stag toe.
It affects an estimated 10% of the population, and then when children and infants have overlapping toes, it's usually that one or both have the same condition.
Emotional roller coaster ahead. As emotions run high, Judge Lake addresses Ms. Thompson's situation and her feelings of being overwhelmed by the responsibilities of motherhood and the ongoing drama. The judge expresses a desire to help her find a resolution for the sake of her child. The climax is near, and it's a doozy.
If you all are trying to see the child, that's what I want to get to next. You say you want to be a part of Legends until you figure out if, in fact, it's your biological. You're attempting to do that. Ms. Thompson saying every time the wife has to come, I realize what that's rooted in. The world's going to be going on. I get all that.
You're not ready for this twist. Ms. Thompson performs a rap in court, summarizing her feelings and experiences related to the case. This moment highlights her creative expression and attempts to communicate her perspective in a unique way. The finale is just around the corner, and it's bound to be a stunner.
Let me tell you a little something about me. Pretty Mac Kool-Aid solo grinding one day. I met him on Facebook, he inbox, trying to see if he could take me out. I'm knowing this dude want to get in them sheets. The dude say he want to marry me. I don't got time. I'm on my stuff, got hectic. I got on that phone and start talking reckless. I can't help it dressing, but my kids, yeah, they are blessed.
Here comes the grand finale. DNA results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McKinley, you are the father.
Can you believe this opener? Ms. Brown starts off with a bang, claiming Mr. Jones is the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Journey, and accuses him of leaving her hanging financially by denying paternity and refusing to help out. She's banking on the DNA test to prove he's the dad and hoping it'll motivate him to start contributing. You won't believe how Mr. Jones claps back.
Ms. Brown, you claim the defendant got pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 2-month-old daughter, Journey, leaving you in financial distress. Today's DNA test will prove that he is father, and you need him to step up and help support your baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Here's where it gets juicy. Mr. Jones fires back, totally denying he's the father of Ms. Brown's child. He's pretty confident about his claim and says he's got the receipts to prove it, setting us up for a real showdown over paternity and all the drama that comes with it. Brace yourself for Ms. Brown's reaction. It's a doozy.
You say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father and have evidence to support your claim.
Yes, ma'am.
Grab your tissues, folks. Ms. Brown spills the beans about her tough financial struggles, admitting to past acts like stealing diapers just to make ends meet. She paints a vivid picture of the tough life of a single mom with no support, making it clear just how dire her situation is. The courtroom's about to heat up even more, so don't go anywhere.
Since she was born, I have a hard time taking care of her financially on my own. I had a job, currently not able to work because of my baby.
You can't work, why? Because you can't afford childcare?
I have no one to keep her. I'm in this alone by myself. I have no support. It's always been hard on. And I'm like, well, what you want me to do? Should I go out and steal diapers? You want me to get arrested again?
Here comes a curveball. Mr. Jones Jones owns up to not really helping out with Journey, admitting the baby needs the basics, but also throwing some blame Ms. Brown's way, claiming her decisions have made things worse. Watch how this plays into the fiery exchange coming up next.
You're admitting that you haven't done much for. You know that this child needs diapers, needs milk.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
But you haven't done anything.
I mean, I have done small, saying as much as I can. I'm more on the 95% that I'm not, because it's 5% because I did have sexual relationships with her. So I'm not denying the whole thing.
Things are getting tangled now. We dive into the backstory of Ms. Brown and Mr. Jones's relationship. Mr. Jones talks about their whirlwind romance, leading quickly to pregnancy, which raises all sorts of red flags about the timeline and who the real daddy might be, considering Ms. Brown had just ended another relationship. The plot thickens. Keep watching.
I had just moved with my cousin to North Carolina. I had met her at work. She had a boyfriend. Chase got her from him, literally, from one house to another, and then before we could really get to know each other, it was, she's pregnant.
So you say you were having sex and you were living on the same roof.
Ma'am.
You know one another?
I mean, no.
You're not ready for this twist. The topic of Ms. Brown's financial supporter, mysteriously referred to only as a friend, comes up, stirring up more doubt in Mr. Jones about whether he's really the father. This adds another layer of intrigue and suspicion, just as things are about to explode.
Because you don't do nothing for my child. The only guy you're talking about is a friend that I have financially that helps me support
friend.
because
it's just too many friends.
When she told you she was pregnant,
we was in the house one day and I was like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy.
I knew.
He said, you're pregnant. No, I'm not.
Like Daddy
so the
said,
next
when I met
day,
her, she had a pudge in her stomach. I thought I was from drinking beer.
I went and took a pregnancy test. It came back positive. So I went to his cousin's house and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant.
And now, the moment of truth. No, really, this is it. Judge Lake finally reveals the results of the DNA test, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. To Joan, you are her father. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Right out of the gate, Mr. Vogel drops a bombshell. He claims he owes $43,000 in child support for a son he believes is not his, stating he knows the actual father is his brother. He expresses a desire to have this debt erased if the results confirm his suspicion. If you think this is wild, just wait for what's next.
Mr. Vogel, you currently owe $40,000 in child support for the defendant's son, who you say is not yours, and you claim to know who his father is. Once today's results prove that you are not his biological father, you say you will return to your home state to get enormous debt erased.
Yes.
Talk about a plot twist. Daniel Vogel accuses his brother, David, of being the biological father of the child, revealing his wife, Donna, had an affair with David. He describes an incident where Donna allegedly had intimate violence with David in Daniel's car. Strap it because the story takes a quirky turn.
Who do you believe his father is?
My brother, David. She had sex with my brother in the car in the parking lot in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Did that just happen? Donna corrects Daniel, clarifying the affair happened under a bridge, not in a car, dubbing her son as a bridge baby. This revelation not only causes chuckles in the courtroom, but also paints a picture of the bizarre circumstances of the affair. The audience's reaction to the next part is a must-see.
There was no sex in the car. It was under a bridge. My son is a bridge baby. I don't know where he got that.
You're admitting that you were intimate with his brother, not in the car under a bridge.
Yes, Your Honor, I was.
Let's get it right.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, Daniel delves into his suspicions during Donna's pregnancy, pondering if someone close to him might be the father. He recounts their tumultuous relationship and Donna's subsequent marriage to his brother after their divorce. Brace yourselves, there's more drama ahead.
I had a thought that it was somebody in my family, and I figured it was. You start to think, and things are going wrong in the relationship, and my brother, you two must be getting together or something, and that's when everything started clicking in my head, and I started putting dates together. He was born on November. She had divorced me already, and I went down to Kentucky, and she told me the story of the car, and...
You can't make this stuff up. William, the son at the center of this drama, discusses his uncertainty about his father's identity, sharing that his mother hinted at the possibility of his uncle David being his father. Watch how this bombshell starts to reshape their family landscape.
About 2 years ago, my mom she came to me and she told me there's a possibility that David could be my father. What she basically told me was that she had had sex with him under a bridge. That's my understanding. It hasn't changed over the last 2 years.
Hold on to your seats for this emotional roller coaster. Daniel talks about the financial and emotional strain of paying child support for children he's unsure are his. He details the significant impacts on his life, including financial strains and legal troubles. The emotional weight of his story sets the stage for an even more heartfelt revelation.
Daniel here is the one paying child support for you.
It's all about the money anyway.
It's not about the money, it's about the children. I have this right here, which is proof that $43,000. I've been paying in 2 states since since 1990, they're taking my federal tax down in Kentucky. The state of Wisconsin's taking my state tax. I couldn't give them Christmas presents. I couldn't do nothing for my own children. And these are my children. These are pronounced to not be my children.
Grab your tissues for this heart-wrenching testimony. William expresses his confusion about his paternity, explaining that every decade, his father figure seems to switch between his uncle and his actual father. The emotional fallout from this confession is about to reach new heights.
He got to see me once in a while. The majority of the time living with David actually been moved around from state to state. We really didn't stay in place for a very long period of time. So my understanding of it was David was my father, but Daniel was my biological father.
As we reach the climax, Judge Lake prepares to reveal the results of the paternity test. The courtroom is charged with tension and anticipation, hanging on every word. The verdict is about to drop, and you won't believe the outcome.
I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostic, and they read as follows. This has been very emotional. Is there anything you'd like to say to your son, William?
I'm just sorry that it happened this way.
The paternity test results show that
it has been determined by this court, Mr. Daniel Vogel, you are his father.
Can you believe we're just diving in? Judge Lake kicks off the episode with the case of Matherson versus Robinson. Mr. Matherson steps up to the plate, tossing out claims left and right that he doubts his fatherhood to Ms. Robinson's 3-year-old Jodin, accusing her of dodging the dreaded paternity test for years. Strap in, Ms. Robinson's clapback is just around the corner.
You and your mother have demanded defendant Ms. Robinson appear in court today. You claim you are not father of her 3-year-old son, Jaden, and say she's been ducking a paternity test for years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Robinson isn't here to play games. Blanked by her mom, she fires back, insisting Mr. Matherson has known all along that he's the daddy and accuses him of ghosting his own responsibilities. Both sides are dug in deeper than a tick, and things are about to get even spicier.
Then you and your mother say Mr. Matherson has known this is his child from day one, and he needs to grow up, stop running from his responsibilities.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're not ready for this twist? Mr. Matherson unravels his tale of trying to bring this to court sooner, thwarted by Ms. Robinson's elusive maneuvers. Judge Lake confirms his story with court records, shining a light on the timeline shenanigans. What comes next? Ms. Robinson's side of the story, and it's a doozy.
Your Honor, I didn't wait 3 years. Well, I tried last year to contact this same court. She refused. She was ducking and dodging, you know.
Original contact date, June of 2015. That was more than a year ago. You say Ms. Robinson's been ducking and dodging.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it was getting hot in here, Ms. Robinson stands her ground, denying all evasion accusations and doubles down on her certainty about Mr. Matherson's paternity, revealing his sporadic appearances over Jodin's life. The plot thickens. Don't go anywhere. The heat turns up next.
I have no reason to duck and dodge.
Because are you certain?
Jaden is 3 years old. I've seen him maybe 5 or 6 times. Alexis is always keeping Jaden away from us. There's nothing, we're not accomplishing anything. Today is the day to find out if Jaden is my grandson.
Talk about throwing gasoline on a fire. The debate gets fiery with allegations of dodgy behavior and irresponsible threats, which Ms. Robinson claims justified her keeping Jodin away from Mr. Matherson and his fam. And just when you think it can't get more heated, the next exchange throws in a curveball.
Tawan is not responsible. Also sent the threat that my son, when he's gonna take him back to Ohio.
I'm gonna take him to Ohio to see my family if he was mine.
Without my permission.
Without your permission.
The thing is, from the beginning when we found out Alexis was pregnant,
she don't know.
Just when you think you've seen it all, accusations fly from Mr. Matherson's mom about Ms. Robinson's lifestyle, suggesting that her character made a paternity test necessary. The dispute gets messier, and believe me, you'll want to stick around for what's coming up next.
Someone told you
yes.
to get a paternity test.
Correct, because she's promiscuous and that she is following in her mother's footsteps.
Started for the paternity test until me and his mom got into it last year, and she spoke up and started speaking with a paternity test.
As things start going on and it was a fight trying to get to see Jaden is when I start saying we need to get a paternity test because no real is going to keep a child from her father. I don't care.
Didn't see this coming, did you? The battle rages over why Jodin doesn't share Mr. Matherson's last name. He sees it as a red flag about his paternity. Ms. Robinson retorts, citing a lack of commitment and responsibility on his part. Hold your horses because there's more drama ahead.
I believe my son should have my last name because Tawan was not showing me any responsibility that he will be able to carry my child.
Because y'all wanted him to give y'all.
We're talking about a newborn child, so I was taking full responsibility.
But if I'm going to him and I'm saying give me
$20 a week for your child. That's no money for no child. There shouldn't be no pressure on it.
Things just got real. The argument escalates as Ms. Robinson urges Mr. Matherson to man up and accept his role amidst a chaotic courtroom struggle to keep order. Next up, enter stage left, potential new dad figure. You won't believe who walks through that door.
Mr. Matherson to take Jaden.
Recently, he was just getting Jaden around his birthday.
So you did see Jaden around his birthday, Mr. Matherson. You still have a doubt when you look at the baby?
Yes,
I mean, he's 3 now, baby, and he's a little boy. You have doubt.
And there's a lot of different reasons why I have doubt.
And just like that, a wild Mr. Gregory Collins appears. He strolls into the courtroom, denying he's the father of Jaden, claiming he was just friends with Ms. Robinson when Jaden was conceived. The room's about to explode as the DNA results are finally unveiled.
Mr. Collins, Mr. Matherson has indicated that he believes that you are Jaden's biological father. Do you believe you are?
100% sure I'm not his father because I wasn't even talking to Alexis on that level.
Are you all in a relationship or are you friends?
Don't say nothing.
And we've been friends for 5 years. Since they've been knowing each other, we're in a relationship right now.
Now you're in a relationship. How long have you all been in this relationship?
Grab your popcorn. This is the big reveal. The results are out, and shocker.
When it comes to 3-year-old Jaden Robinson, Mr. Matherson, you are the father. That's your little boy.
Here's where the roller coaster kicks off. Ms. Gray begins by asserting that Mr. Pearson has devastated her family by denying paternity of their 10-month-old daughter, Camilla. She expresses her frustration and hope for resolution in court, highlighting the emotional stakes involved in the case. Brace yourselves, because we're just scratching the surface.
You say the defendant, Mr. Pearson, has ripped your family apart because of his denial that is your 10-month-old daughter. He never denied your 2 oldest kids, but refuses to believe is the biological dad of baby Camilla.
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, twist in the tale. Mr. Pearson counters Ms. Gray's claims, asserting that he is not the father of Camilla, and suggests that a member of his own family might be the biological father instead. This revelation adds a layer of complexity and personal conflict to the proceedings. Buckle up, it's about to get even wilder.
You claim that not only are you not baby Camilla's father, but you know that her dad is actually a member of your own family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things are heating up now. Mr. Pearson admits to treating Camilla differently due to his doubts about paternity. This moment underscores the real-world impact of the paternity dispute on the child's life, highlighting the emotional and familial rifts that have formed. And just when you thought it couldn't escalate further,
The way he treats the other ones, he treats them way more better things. He don't buy her nothing.
Is that true, Mr. Pearson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's because of the doubt you say you have. I don't know how you ignore a beautiful baby like that. Do you feel like they can feel or understand? Or is
No.
it just because you know and you see the difference?
get ready for the bombshell. The tension escalates when Mr. Pearson accuses Ms. Gray of infidelity with his cousin, which she confirmed, stating it was out of revenge. This bombshell deepens the conflict and paints a picture of tangled personal relationships and retaliatory action. The aftermath of this will have your jaw on the floor.
She slept with my cousin, Your Honor.
How did you find that out?
Being of the fact that he was at my house while I was leaving to go to work. And I just left it be. I didn't question it. You know, I thought I could have more trust in my cousin. Because at that time, I didn't have suspicions until, you know, we started to move out. And I wonder what he was coming to my house for. I'm leaving to go to work. Who was he there for?
You won't believe this twist. Ms. Gray admits to sleeping with Mr. Pearson's cousin multiple times as revenge, revealing the complicated and retaliatory nature of their relationship dynamics. This confession is pivotal as it directly impacts the paternity uncertainty. Strap in for the next curve in this saga.
Ms. Gray, did you sleep with his cousin?
Yes, I did. It was revengeful because he left me in North Carolina when I would have a kid together. So yes, I slept with his cousin several times too because it was revengeful.
Now the truth come out.
Mr. Pearson, you were never told it happened.
And he told me that it happened, and I confronted her about it, and she still lies to me about it, Your Honor.
This part's a real eye-opener. The focus shifts to the cousin, Mr. Alexander Pearson, who participates via video link. He discusses his involvement with Ms. Gray and his suspicion that he might be Camilla's biological father based on timing and physical resemblance.
Ms. Gray has lied that you've indicated that is your biological child. Pearson, your cousin, has indicated that he is aware we're sleeping with Ms. Gray. Are these things true?
Yes, Your Honor. I was aware that she was pregnant. Being who the father was, neither one of us knew because at that time, she did tell me that she was pregnant. Time frame between when she had the baby.
Can you handle more? Because here it comes. The conversation turns to the necessity of a DNA test to resolve the paternity dispute. This part of the episode highlights the participants' reliance on scientific validation to settle deeply personal and emotional disputes. Hold tight, the truth is just moments away.
He didn't think that I was a father. Why would she need a DNA test in the first place?
This is what I said. Before we even had sexual intercourse, he said, "You're pregnant," When I had my child, neither one of them two came up there to see me. He told me to send a picture of her. That's when he started denying her. I constantly tell Mr. Pearson right here that he is the father.
Feel the tension building? The judge addresses the deeper issues of trust, betrayal, and the implications of the relationships on the children involved. This segment offers a sobering look at the emotional cost of the adults' actions. The verdict's coming up, and it's a doozy.
You're not gonna stop making children.
The Bible says be fruitful.
So the Bible also says, get married. I don't mind you wanting to have children, but you need to do it right. There's been a lot of tit for tat around, a lot of jokes, a lot of you don't have to be with me. This is all child's play. You all are kids.
Here comes a crucial turning point. In her concluding remarks, the judge empathizes with Ms. Gray's desire for a stable family life and addresses the responsibilities of all parties involved. The focus is on the well-being of the children and the need for maturity and cooperation moving forward. Next up, the big reveal that changes everything.
Waking up in the morning and you see that person every day, you see your kids every day. I want my family.
You've had a tough road to toe. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because you have not done right. Also had reasonable doubt in this particular situation. Can only imagine if you have two children with someone and then you truly have that doubt about the third, how do you handle it? I don't think you're old enough and possess the maturity necessary.
Are you ready for the grand finale? The climax of the episode occurs when the DNA results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Theodore Pearson.
Can I see my daughter?